All right, I just wanted to talk about the last season in the year of movie viewing. So I went through last time with the January season of movie watching, which is one of my favorites. It's now coming to a close. And so right after that season ends, we start with the kind of the February season, and just for lack of a better term, we call it Omen season. And it was kind of the first coined season of movie watching that I came up with, and it is also marks the end of the year of movie watching. I'll explain more in the next video on that. So the must watches for Omen season, and it begins February the 1st. So you can kind of start a little before that if you need to, because by now I've finished all of my must watches for the January season. And when I first started watching the Omen movies, I would start it off kind of at the end of January, but then more recently it was more like the Saturday before the Super Bowl, which for years was the first week in February. Now, of course, it's later, so I really try to get the Omen 1976, the first film of this season of movie watching, to try to get that in as quickly as possible into the season, like February 1st, if you can. Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, etc. And so, really want to get that one in while it's still really cold, while it still feels winter. And then we have this one called Super Sunday, 1988, NFL Films. I think it's Harry Callis as the narrator. Really good presentation of Super Bowls, going from 1 to 22. So it's really old, but it's got a lot of great footage in there, and it's a good one to watch, like say the night before the Super Bowl. It's just a great encapsulation of those Super Bowls. And a look at kind of like I like seeing the old like 70s Super Bowl. So that's a must watch every year. Damien, Omen 2, 1978. William Holden, Lee Grant, Jonathan Scott Taylor. Of course, a lot of great other ones. Robert Foxworth and Lance Hendrickson. Now this one is one that you hope for snow. Usually doesn't happen, but you really want to get this one in definitely before Valentine's Day. So don't wait till no later than Valentine's Day. Okay, and you don't want to do it too long after seeing this. You want to have a nice flow of the Omen story. Okay, Cartboy is a short film, 1995. It just has a real I think it's about 30 minutes, and it has the guys from there was a show called The Trailer Park Guys or something, but this is kind of their first little film effort. It's just kind of funny, and it has that real February cold weather kind of feel to it. So I really like this one. And then Final Conflict, or Omen 3. The year is 81 on this one. This is one that you don't want to wait too long. If you can get it before Valentine's Day, great, but try not to wait too late after Valentine's Day to watch Omen 3. Again, keeping the continuity going. Don't wait too long before each one. And then Snow Beast, 1977 is a good one. Bo Svensson, Lemieux, Robert Logan, Sylvia Sidney of Omen 2. Now this is one that I've already done. When it snowed, I already watched it in January, but if you miss it in January, save it for, a snowy day in February. If that happens, a good one to watch. And this one, which can be January or February, a docudrama about the guy who lives with the Eskimos. 1974, one of my favorite films of all time. This was one that I did not get in January, and I'll probably force it in in February, whether it snows or not, but a great one to watch when it snows. And then Omen, so first Omen 2024 is one that you would, if you want to do first Omen, do it before Omen because it's a prequel. I will not be doing first Omen this year, okay? But the last must watch is Omen 4, The Awakening. Faye Grant, Sexy Faya, Michael Lerner, etc. Asia Vieira. I did a full review on this one last year. But Omen 4, The Awakening, 1991, is the final film of the year of movie watching. So when that's over, the year comes to an end. Okay, it's just always been that way, and it should be no later than like March. I'm gonna say no later than the time daylight savings time. Okay, which is I think this year we do it March 9th. So you could you could do this at the end of February. I pushed it all the way into March because it's still cold and the movie has that kind of late winter feel to it. It's a little snow left, so when this ends and Senator Congressman York is at his wife's funeral with the two kids, Delia and Alexander, and he's leaving, and the credits roll. The end of the whole year of movie watching comes to an end, and then we enter this kind of weird period. And I'll talk about that after I've talked about the other films for this period. Fantastic Voyage, 1966, Donald Pleasance, and it was that hot actress that just died recently. And then Never Ashamed, a Christian film, 1983. Maybe you can get that one in there. Groundhog Day, 1993. Once every few years, I'll watch that on February 2nd. First Omen is a new entry into the others. It's not a must-watch yet. First Omen, I saw it when it came out in 2024. It was the last Omen-related movie I saw. It was in April. It's the last Omen-related movie that I've seen. So I don't really need to see it again. And I don't want to pay for it either. So maybe next year it will be a must-watch. So I've seen this, and now this is a prequel. Now it's time to go to this one. So I'm not doing it. If you want to and you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. And then another throw-in is The Omen, 2006. I'll never watch it again, but if you haven't seen it and you've seen all the other Omens, I recommend just checking it out. It's a movie that didn't need to exist, but it only came out because it was released in theaters on June 6, 2006, 666, and so it's bad, but it's watchable. It's boring. And then Clerks, 1994, just because it's a comedy, and and it's black and white, and it has a real, especially the hockey scene where they play hockey on top of the convenience store. It really has that kind of bad late winter feel to it, and it's a movie that doesn't have it has a little bit of a bad tone to it, but there are some redeeming parts to it. So, but it's definitely not a must-watch. Okay, so this ends the year of movie watching. After this, you get to a period of about 3 weeks, from the last 3 weeks of March towards the end of March, like April 1st, it starts the spring season of movie watching, which I talked about last year, and I hope to do a full presentation of it this year. But before I do that, I will talk about the little off-season period of those 3 weeks from like March 9th to the end of March. It's very similar to the first period of November after Horror Fest. There's kind of a little break there from Horror Fest, the ending of Horror Fest, to the beginning of Thanksgiving Fest. There's kind of a area in there of just no must-watches. Similar here, from the last 3 weeks of March, there's no must-watches, and it's just sort of a dead off-season time. Now, during that period, there can be some Omen runoff things, like some Omen like kind of rip-off type movies. I did that last year, but again, it's just sort of more like off-season, like Pro Bowl type of time to get ramped up for spring season of movie watching. All right, hope you enjoyed. That's just a roundup of what's coming up after the January season of movie watching, which is one of my favorites, but this is really good. It's really centered on the Omen, which deserves its own season. So Omen season, happy Omen season. Do it right, boys, and I'll see you for the next video.